Now, welcome back, everyone. We're going to continue now from where we actually stopped. We actually stopped in what we call a Kritachi government, and I talked about. I said a Kritachi government is a government that is ruled by or by judges, by judges. So when you have a group of judges, ruling a country, you call it a what? A Kritachi government, a Kritachi government. Now we have done the autocracy, we have done aristocracy, we have done geonocracy, we have done gerontocracy, we have done Kritachi. Now let us now move to what we call netocracy, or you can say netocracy, Neto, netocracy. Now it's actually originated from when Catholic popes assigned their what their sons whom they call nephews to position of power within what the government. So when you have Catholic priests, positioning their nephews or their sons or into position of power, you call it a netocracy. It is called a netocracy. This kind of government is common in South America. So South America is a very good example. Then we also have what we call plutocracy. Plutocracy. A plutocratic government refers to government controlled by few rich and powerful people or group. So when you have a few rich and powerful people forming a government, it is called a plutocracy. This wealthy class controls political power because they also have, have access to economic resources. They have access to economic resources. So because they have access to economic resources, they tend to control what political power. So you find such people among industrialists, landlords, financiers, and they are found in countries like in Greece, Rome, Japan, and Tunisia. So a plutocratic government is a government controlled by few rich and powerful people. So that's a plutocratic government. There was also have what we call sortition. Sortition. Sortition is Sortion. Sortition. Sortition government. So when you talk about it a is an oligarchy government that involves the drawing of casting of lots in order to choose who to rule. When you have a government that is based on drawing or casting of lots in order to determine who should rule a country, then you have what we call a sortition. A sortition. A sortition. It is also called demachi. Demachi. You can also call it demachi, or you can call it allotment. You can call it demachi, or you can call it a allotment. Allotment. So the leader is chosen from a random sample of what of large group of what of candidates. They are usually choosing from a random sample from a large group of what of candidates. So it is common in the ancient Greek state of Athens, including Switzerland and Italy. Then we also have what we call technocracy. Technocracy. When you have a group of rulers that have or technical expertise ideas, or they have technical ideas, or their expertise coming together to form a government, you call it what? A technocratic government. So this is the type of government whereby the rulers are what are people with technical or elite expertise, and they have a lot of technical and scientific knowledge. Countries operating this type of government are countries like Canada, we have Germany, Greece, and Russia. Then we also have what we call theocracy. Theocracy. When you talk about a theocratic government, it's a form of government controlled by priests. When a government is controlled by a priest, you call it what? Theocracy. Theocracy. So this group of priestly class or rulers are considered to be divinely ordained. They are divinely ordained. Then let me add the bonus. The bonus I'm going to add now is what we call cryptocratic governments. Cryptocratic government. Cryptocratic government. Let me spell cryptocratic. It's KLUPTOCRACY. Kleptocratic government. Now, when you talk about a kleptocratic government is a government that is made up of people that are siphoning, embezzling, diverting public money into their own personal use. So it's a government of what? Of people that are corrupt in nature. It's a very corruptible government. So when you have such a government, it is called a cryptocratic government. So they siphon, they embezzle, they steal, they convert public treasuries and money into their own personal pocket. This is very evident in most developing countries, most especially in Africa, where most of these political leaders actually use public treasury for their own personal aggrandizement. And at the end of the day, the country is subjected to what we call absolute poverty and penury and underdevelopment. Absolute poverty, penury, and underdevelopment, because such a country cannot experience what we call development. So development in such society is utopia, is a mirage. It is not possible because the money has been stolen, the money has been diverted, the money has been embezzled, the money has been siphoned. Then I mentioned genocratic government the other time when I said old government, old people. You discover that most of these developing society, most of their leaders are old men. They are old people, and because of this, in most societies or in this most of these societies, the youth are not given the privilege to exercise political power. But the current trend in Nigeria now, as the president has mentioned, that the youth should be given a chance to participate in the area of decision making in government. So we are waiting for that change actually at the end of the day. So on this note, we're going to end the topic on oligarchy. Now you actually understand the meaning of the word oligarchy. When you said a government is oligarchic, is a government ruled by a few people who have economic resources and political powers within their disposal, and they tend to use this to protect the interest of their members only, as opposed to the larger society, the larger society. Then I also mentioned an oligarchic government was a selfish government, is an egocentric government, is a government that has what we call the iron law of oligarchy, the iron law of oligarchy. And I've actually explained what we mean by the iron law of oligarchy. I said when you have a kind of a social stratification that tends to divide the society into the rich and the what and the poor, and the poor find it very difficult or very hard for them to get into the circle of the rich. Then you have what we call the iron law of oligarchy. So in such society, it's very difficult for the rich to find themselves in the midst of or to attain the level of the elite in the society. So in such society, poverty, penury is actually preponderous in such a society. Such a society is preponderous to what we call poverty. So poverty, penury, and anomaly, and a society. The society we tend to be underdeveloped, because why? The government will always cater for the interest of the people in that circle. And this is what is also evident in developing societies, where you can actually distinguish between the rich and the poor. And in such society, the iron law of oligarchy is actually evident in such society. You can actually, it is a society where people can hardly afford 3 square meals in a day. They can hardly afford 3 square meals in a day. And apart from that, such people also earn below $1 in a day. You can imagine what $1 can do in your life in a day, considering the economic inflation that we have in the country now. Such money cannot go a long way. It is what I call a starvation wage. It's a suicide wage. It's a wage that cannot sustain you, not to talk about sustaining your family. And that is why in our supplement classes, we're going to talk about what we call the poverty tree. Poverty tree. And that is why poverty tree is so evident in such society. And apart from that, poverty can be generational. It can be generational. It can be passed from the father to the children. Poverty tree, because of this, asymmetrical nature of the society. Because the society is disequilibrium. There is no equality. It's not an egalitarian society. So there is a big gap between the rich and the poor. On this note, I'm going to end the topic on the oligarchy. If you have not subscribed or you have not followed us on Facebook or on YouTube, you can do that right away. We also have a our channel on what on Twitter, where you can watch most of my videos. So please subscribe or follow us, leave your comment, click on the notification, and also like and share our videos to the teeming world, so that everybody can have access to this fountain of what of knowledge, to this tsunami of knowledge. Till with me next time, I remain your humble, loyal, and what and the honest and dedicated and dexterous and hardworking and what and innovative and inventive what persona, David Oni. And my YouTube and Facebook channel is David Oniwis. Thank you and God bless. Till we meet next time. Goodbye.